Chapter 61. A big country should be like the Delta Low regions, being the concourse of the world and the female of the world. The female overcomes the male by quietude, and achieves the lowly position by quietude. Therefore, if a big country places itself below a small country, it absorbs the small country. And if a small country places itself below a big country, it absorbs the big country. Therefore some place themselves low to absorb others, some are naturally low and absorb others. What a big country wants is but to shelter others, and what a small country wants is but to be able to come in and be sheltered. Thus, considering that both may have what they want, a big country ought to place itself low. Chapter 62. Tao is the mysterious secret of the universe, the good person's treasure and the bad person's refuge. Beautiful sayings can be sold at the market. Noble conduct can be presented as a gift. Though there be bad people, why reject them? Therefore, on the crowning of an emperor, on the appointment of the 3 ministers, rather than send tributes of jade and teams of 4 horses, send in the tribute of Tao. Wherein did the ancients prize this Tao? Did they not say, to search for the guilty ones and pardon them? Therefore is Tao the treasure of the world. Chapter 63. Accomplish do nothing, attend to no affairs, taste the flavorless. Whether it is big or small, many or few, requite hatred with virtue. Deal with the difficult while yet it is easy. Deal with the big while it is yet small. The difficult problems of the world must be dealt with while they are yet easy. The great problems of the world must be dealt with while they are yet small. Therefore the sage, by never dealing with great problems, accomplishes greatness. One who lightly makes a promise will find it often hard to keep his faith. One who makes light of many things will encounter many difficulties. Hence even the sage regards things as difficult, and for that reason never meets with difficulties. Chapter 64. That which lies still is easy to hold. That which is not yet manifest is easy to forestall. That which is brittle, like ice, easily melts. That which is minute easily scatters. Deal with the thing before it is there. Check disorder before it is ripe. A tree with a full span's girth begins from a tiny sprout. A 9-storied terrace begins with a clod of earth. A journey of 1,000 li begins at one's feet. He who acts spoils. He who grasps lets slip. Because the sage does not act, he does not spoil. Because he does not grasp, he does not let slip. Human affairs are often spoiled within an act of completion. By being careful at the end as at the beginning, failure is averted. Therefore the sage desires to have no desire, and values not objects difficult to obtain, learns that which is unlearned, and restores what the multitude have lost, that he may assist to the course of nature and not presume to interfere. Chapter 65. The ancients who knew how to follow the Tao aimed not to enlighten the people, but to keep them ignorant. The reason it is difficult for the people to live in peace is because of too much knowledge. Those who seek to rule a country by knowledge are the nation's curse. Those who seek not to rule a country by knowledge are the nation's blessing. Those who know these 2 principles also know the ancient standard. And to know always the ancient standard is called the mystic virtue. When the mystic virtue becomes clear, far-reaching, and things revert back to their source, then and then only emerges the grand harmony. Chapter 66. How did the great rivers and seas become the lords of the ravines? By being good at keeping low. That was how they became the lords of the ravines. Therefore, in order to be the chief among the people, one must speak like their inferiors. In order to be the foremost among the people, one must walk behind them. Thus it is that the sage stays above, and the people do not feel his weight, walks in front, and the people do not wish him harm. Then the people of the world are glad to uphold him forever. Because he does not contend, no one in the world can contend against him. Chapter 67. All the world says my teaching Tao greatly resembles folly. Because it is great, therefore it resembles folly. If it did not resemble folly, it would have long ago become petty indeed. I have 3 treasures, guard them and keep them safe. The first is love, the second is never too much, the third is never be the first in the world. Through love, one has no fear. Through not doing too much, one has amplitude of reserve power. Through not presuming to be the first in the world, one can develop one's talent and let it mature. If one forsakes love and fearlessness, forsakes restraint and reserve power, forsakes following behind and rushes in front, he is doomed. For love is victorious in attack and invulnerable in defense. Heaven arms with love those it would not see destroyed. Chapter 68. The brave soldier is not violent. The good fighter does not lose his temper. The great conqueror does not fight on small issues. The great user of men places himself below others. This is the virtue of not contending. It's called the capacity to use men. It's reaching to the height of being made it to heaven, to what was of old. Chapter 69. There is the maxim of military strategists. I dare not be the first to invade, but rather be the invaded. Dare not press forward an inch, but rather retreat a foot. That is, to march without formations, to roll up the sleeves, to charge not in frontal attacks, to arm without weapons. There is no greater catastrophe than to underestimate the enemy. To underestimate the enemy might entail the loss of my treasures. Therefore, when 2 equally matched armies meet, it is the person of sorrow who wins. Chapter 70. My teachings are very easy to understand and very easy to practice, but no one can understand them and no one can practice them. In my words there is a principle. In human affairs there is a system. Because they know not these, they also know me not. Since there are few that know me, therefore I am distinguished. Therefore the sage wears a coarse cloth on top and carries jade within his bosom. Chapter 71. Who knows that he does not know is the highest. Who pretends to know what he does not know is sick-minded. And who recognizes sick-mindedness as sick-mindedness is not sick-minded. The sage is not sick-minded, because he recognizes sick-mindedness as sick-mindedness. Therefore he is not sick-minded. Chapter 72. When people have no fear of force, then, as is the common practice, great force descends upon them. Despise not their dwellings, dislike not their progeny. Because you do not dislike them, you will not be disliked yourself. Therefore the sage knows himself, but does not show himself, loves himself, but does not exalt himself. Therefore he rejects the one, force, and accepts the other, gentility.